Hey everyone, welcome back. So we're going to dive into a question today that I think is on a lot of people's minds. Is YouTube like really taking over traditional TV?
Yeah.
We got some listener questions about this, some research they sent over, and even a really interesting episode of the Digital Horizons podcast.
Oh, cool.
And it's funny because it seems like every time we even think about doing an episode on this, there's some new headline about it, right? And like literally just this week, streaming viewership, which of course includes YouTube, right? Just surpassed cable for the very first time in the US. Pretty wild, right?
It is, yeah, but I feel like those numbers only tell, just part of the story.
Right, exactly. Like, what does that actually mean? You know? Like, is YouTube gonna like kill TV? Should we all just throw out our TVs? I don't think so, but...
I don't think so really, but I mean, YouTube's journey is really interesting to look at.
Okay, yeah, let's just back up a bit.
Yeah.
Where did this whole thing even start?
So, way back in 2005, YouTube was launched.
Okay.
And it was just this like really simple site for sharing videos,
Right.
And then I think it was just a year later, Google buys YouTube for like $1.65 billion.
Whoa, okay. They must see something there.
Right. Like talk about seeing potential.
Yeah.
And fast forward to today, 2023, we're talking 2.7 billion monthly users.
It's mind-blowing. Like almost a third of the planet uses YouTube.
Yeah.
So clearly something about this whole thing worked, right? I mean, it's easy to forget now, but TV was king for decades,
Right.
So what was it about YouTube that just, I don't know, caught on in such a massive way?
Well, I think it really represents a complete, a fundamental shift in how we consume media,
Okay, yeah, stand on that.
So TV was all about scheduled programming.
Right.
Very passive. You had to be sitting down at a certain time to watch whatever the network decided to air. And YouTube basically flipped that whole model on its head, completely.
Oh, yeah.
It's on demand. Watch whatever you want, whenever you want it. And with billions of videos, it's whatever you're into, whatever your niche interest is.
Yeah.
YouTube has it. I mean, it really became this cultural force, not just a platform.
Okay, so back to those viewership numbers then. Streaming just overtaking cable. That is huge. But what's driving that, do you think? Is it just convenience or is there something deeper?
It's definitely convenient. I mean, think about it. You can watch YouTube on your phone, your computer, your smart TV, whenever, wherever. No more rigid TV schedules, you don't have to fight over the remote with your family.
Yeah, totally.
But, I think it goes even deeper than just convenience. You have to consider the algorithm.
Not the algorithm. Everybody's talking about the YouTube algorithm.
It is, but it's for a reason. I mean, it's constantly learning what you like, what you watch, suggests videos based on your history.
It's like a personalized TV channel.
Basically, yeah.
Wow.
Can traditional TV even compete with that level of personalization? I don't know.
That's a good question. But what about the creators themselves, though?
Oh, yeah.
One thing I hear a lot is how YouTube allows people to build these whole careers. Something that felt almost impossible with traditional TV, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, YouTube gives creators all these different ways to actually make money from their content, which is huge.
Okay, yeah, what kind of stuff?
So ads are part of it, obviously.
Right.
But you also have things like channel memberships where, fans can pay for exclusive content.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
You have these super chats, which are basically you pay to have your message highlighted during a live stream.
Oh.
And of course, you have merch, selling your own merchandise.
So it's a completely different world from the old TV model of, network contracts and hoping some advertiser likes your show.
Exactly. It's really given rise to a whole new generation of content creators who are essentially entrepreneurs.
Wow.
Building their own media empires on YouTube.
That's fascinating. So, okay, it sounds like YouTube has this massive global reach, this huge range of content, all these new ways for creators to, actually make a living doing what they love.
Yeah.
So is it safe to say then that YouTube's just going to completely dominate the media landscape?
Well, it's definitely a major force. But, we can't forget about the content itself, right?
Okay, good point.
Traditional TV, it's all about appealing to as broad an audience as possible.
Yeah, got to get those ratings right.
Right. Which means you end up with like a somewhat limited range of shows and genres.
Okay, I see what you mean.
But YouTube, on the other hand, it thrives on this like niche content.
Okay.
Like, let's say you're super into restoring like vintage motorcycles or, I don't know, learning astrophysics, whatever.
Right.
There's a YouTube channel out there for you,
Yeah, and I've noticed like a lot of these niche YouTube channels have this, I don't know, like very authentic, like unfiltered feel,
For sure.
It feels like you're really getting a glimpse into the creator's world in a way that's just so different from the super polished produced stuff you see on TV.
Totally. And I think that's a key difference, right?
Okay, yeah.
TV creators, they often have to deal with so many restrictions, network regulations, what advertisers want, censorship even.
Right.
But YouTubers, especially those working independently, they have a lot more freedom to be themselves, to, express their own unique voice. Yeah. And that really resonates with audiences, especially, I think, younger generations who really value authenticity and that sense of like connection with the creator.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like peeking behind the curtain, right? Seeing the real person.
Yeah, exactly.
Not just the polished image.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's that connection, right? That sense of community. It's really powerful. And you mentioned earlier, that YouTube has 2.7 billion monthly users, right?
Yeah.
Like, think about the scale of that. I mean, it's truly a global phenomenon.
It really is.
Connecting people across cultures, across geographical boundaries in a way that we couldn't even imagine just a few decades ago. It's pretty wild.
And it's not just about entertainment either, right?
Oh, for sure.
I've seen so many examples of people using YouTube for education, for like learning new skills,
right?
For accessing information that might not even be available where they live,
Absolutely. It's become this incredible, this democratizing force in education, especially, in parts of the world where traditional learning resources just aren't as readily available.
Right.
And you can find everything, like literally everything on YouTube. Language lessons, coding tutorials, lectures from, the top universities in the world.
It's amazing.
All for free. I mean, it's just a remarkable tool for self-improvement and knowledge sharing.
And it's not just individuals benefiting either. Mm-hmm. We talked about creators building careers, but what about the wider economic impact?
Oh, it's huge.
I've seen articles about whole industries popping up around YouTube.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's like YouTube created this entirely new ecosystem of businesses.
That's so cool.
So you have like marketing agencies that specialize in YouTube promotion, production companies creating, high quality content specifically for YouTube channels.
Wow.
And it's creating opportunities for entrepreneurship, for job creation on this like global scale.
Sounds incredible.
Especially in developing economies where access to, those traditional media and marketing channels might be more limited.
So it's almost like YouTube is kind of like leveling the playing field in a way.
Yeah, I think so. It's giving individuals, small businesses, even a platform to compete on a global stage.
It's amazing to see how it's reshaping everything.
Mm-hmm.
Not just how we watch videos, but like the whole economic landscape.
Totally.
Yeah.
And it's not just about economics either. YouTube has also become this really powerful tool for like social change, for activism.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
It's given a voice to communities that might have been marginalized before.
Yeah.
It's allowed activists to document injustices, and really mobilize people around important causes.
It's so easy to get caught up in like the entertainment side of YouTube, and forget that it's also this platform where people can really share their stories and advocate for change.
It's really powerful, but it's kind of a double-edged sword too.
Oh, okay. In what way?
The same openness, that same platform that allows for all this positive social impact, it can also be used for, misinformation, for hate speech, for harmful content. It's a challenge.
Yeah, that's the thing with any platform that allows for, user-generated content. It's like, how do you balance that freedom of expression with protecting people?
Exactly. And it's a constant battle, not just for YouTube, but for all of us too. I mean, as users, we have a responsibility to be, discerning, to think critically about the information we're seeing and to report harmful content when we see it,
It's like being a responsible digital citizen almost.
Totally. Like we have all this freedom to express ourselves, to access information, to connect with others.
Yeah.
But we also have a responsibility to, use that freedom wisely and ethically.
Okay, so coming back to our original question, is YouTube like actually taking over traditional TV.
Right.
It seems like it's not a simple yes or no answer, huh?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen how YouTube has totally disrupted things, right?
Right.
Created all these new opportunities, but also all these new challenges.
Yeah.
And it's fundamentally changed how we consume content, how we interact with it. But, traditional TV, it still has its own strength, especially when it comes to, like, live events, right?
Good point.
And those, like, really high-budget premium productions.
Yeah, there's just something about, like, the shared experience of watching a live sporting event on TV or, some big news story as it's unfolding.
Yeah.
I don't know, YouTube hasn't quite captured that same feeling yet.
Right. And you also have to remember that the lines between the two are getting blurrier all the time.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
I mean, a lot of TV networks now have their own YouTube channels. And then you have platforms like YouTube TV, which are offering, live streaming of cable channels.
It's almost like they're recognizing each other's strengths.
Yeah.
And adapting to this, like, changing media world.
Right. So it's becoming less about one replacing the other and more about them, like, coexisting and kind of converging in a way.
So, like, what does this all mean for the future of media? I mean, where are we going with all this?
Well, one thing's for sure. The future is going to be way more participatory, way more personalized, and way more global.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, audiences have so much more power than ever before, right? They get to choose what they watch, when they watch it, on whatever device they want.
So creators have to, like, keep up, right?
Oh, absolutely. They need to be way more responsive to what the audience wants.
It's about creating content that resonates, content that provides value and, like, that sense of connection.
Right, exactly. And as technology keeps evolving, as internet access becomes even more widespread, even more affordable, who knows what kind of crazy innovations we'll see, The possibilities are kind of endless.
Exciting to think about, right? Like, what about virtual reality experiences, interactive storytelling, personalized news feeds tailored to your exact interests?
Right. I mean, it's a future where, like, the lines between entertainment, education, information, it's all going to blur even more.
It's wild.
It's a future where we'll have even more control over our media experiences, which is exciting and a little scary.
Yeah, it's a lot to process, but it's a future that I'm excited to be a part of.
Me too.
So from all of this, what would you say is, like, the key takeaway you'd leave our listeners with today?
I think the most important thing is to stay curious, to stay engaged, and to be, like, an active participant in all of this.
Okay, yeah.
Because, I mean, the future of media is literally being shaped right now, and we're all a part of it. The choices we make as viewers, as consumers, as creators, it all has an impact.
So that actually reminds me of something.
What?
At the end of that Digital Horizons podcast episode, they left listeners with this really thought-provoking question.
Okay, what was it?
What happens when internet access becomes even more ubiquitous and affordable, globally?
It's a good question. I mean, will TV's, like, advantages with live content be enough?
Yeah.
Or will technology find a way to, like, bridge that gap?
Yeah. And will we see even more blurring of the lines between all these different platforms? Or will we actually see a split, a divergence into even more specialized niches?
Who knows? It's so fascinating to think about.
Definitely. It's a lot to consider as we navigate this, this ever-changing world of digital media. I mean, it's crazy how fast things change in the media world, right?
Yeah.
Even just a few years ago, the idea that streaming would ever overtake traditional TV seemed kind of far-fetched.
Yeah.
And now, here we are, right in the middle of this, like, whole media revolution.
It really shows how quickly things can shift, And I feel like even with everything we've talked about today, we've only just scratched the surface.
Yeah, for sure.
So what are your biggest takeaways from all of this, from the research you shared?
I think for me, what's most striking is this, like, massive power shift that's happening, Oh,
yeah.
Like, viewers aren't just passively sitting back and watching whatever's put in front of them anymore.
Yeah.
They're in control.
Yeah.
They're curating their own experiences. They're demanding content that, like, actually resonates with them on a personal level.
It's like we've gone from this broadcast model to more of a network model.
Yeah, totally.
And YouTube, like, perfectly embodies that shift, Yeah. It's a platform built on individual expression, these niche communities.
Yeah.
And just this democratization of, like, who gets to create content.
And like you said earlier, that democratization goes way beyond just entertainment. Right?
Oh, absolutely.
It's changing education, economics, even social activism. Like, the potential for positive change is huge.
It really is. But, we got to be real about the potential downsides, too.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Look,
what misinformation, these echo chambers where people only see content that reinforces their existing views. And the whole challenge of content moderation on a platform with literally billions of videos.
Right.
Those are some serious issues that need thoughtful solutions, not just from YouTube itself, but from all of us who use it.
Yeah, it's a good reminder that every new technology, every advancement, it always comes with its own set of challenges.
Yeah.
And we need to be aware of those as we navigate this new media landscape.
Yeah.
Approach it with enthusiasm.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also a healthy dose of critical thinking.
Totally. I think that's key. So to kind of circle back to our initial question,
yeah.
Is YouTube really dominating traditional TV? The answer is not so simple.
Right. It's not as if one is just going to wipe out the other, right?
Exactly. They both have their strengths and their weaknesses.
Yeah.
And we've seen how they're both adapting and learning from each other.
Yeah, those lines are definitely getting blurry.
It's less about one conquering the other and more about this dynamic interplay between them, this constant evolution.
Gotcha.
And that evolution is far from over.
So for our listeners, for the people who've been with us on this whole deep dive, what's the one thing you really want them to take away from this conversation?
I would say stay curious, keep exploring. The future of media is being shaped right now, and we're all a part of it. Your choices matter. Your preferences matter. Your participation matters. It all shapes where things go from here.
That's a great message. Thanks so much for joining us on this deep dive.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's been fun.
We'll keep exploring these fascinating topics, and we hope you'll join us again next time.